Here is the next question that came in this month for our Ask Cozy Grammar Q&A session. We recently had a comment on our YouTube channel asking, what part of speech is the word several? This is a wonderful question because it has more than one answer, and it gives me the opportunity to emphasize an important point, which is this. Many words in English are not only one part of speech. In other words, many words in English can be different parts of speech depending on their context in a particular sentence. So the idea of parts of speech only really makes sense when we put words back into the context not only of language, but of life. So let's take a look at the word several in the context of a sentence and in the context of life. Let me pull up an example for us to look at. Okay, you should now be able to see our first example, which is simply, I enjoyed reading several books. In this case, we have the word several coming in front of a noun. So here's our word several, and it's coming in front of the noun books. In this case, we have a word which is describing a noun. And anytime we have a word describing a noun, that word is an adjective. So in this sentence, the word several is doing the work of, is being the part of speech that we call an adjective. And because this adjective is telling us telling us something about the amount or the number of books, we call it a quantitative Since we have a adjective which is telling us something about the number or amount of a noun, we call it a quantitative adjective. Now, somebody could say, well, it doesn't tell us the exact number of books. I didn't say I enjoyed reading 3 books or 4 books or 5 books. And of course, 3, 4, and 5 in all of those cases would have been quantitative adjectives as well. But words such as several or as many are also quantitative adjectives. And in this case, several indicates more than one, but less than many. If we had many books, we should use the word many. But if we want to indicate a number between 2, or including 2, up through a number less than many, depending on the reader, that might be 5, that might be 6, that might be 200, who knows, depending what kind of reader you are. We use the word several to indicate this more general amount. Now, let's use this same word, several, in a different sentence. And let's put this in a context of an actual conversation that we might have in life. So imagine somebody says, did you see any movies? And I answer, I saw several. Now here again, we have the word several. But notice that in this case, several comes at the end of the sentence. In other words, it doesn't follow, I should say, in other words, it doesn't precede a noun. And in fact, it is doing the work of the object of the sentence. I saw what? I saw several. So in this case, several is not doing the work of an adjective or a quantitative adjective. In this case, it's doing something different. It's doing the work of an indefinite pronoun. Let me write that up for those who are learning this word for the first time or having a review for themselves in. So in this case, several is doing the work of an indefinite pronoun. Now let's take a look at what that means. A pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun. So in this case, several is taking the place of the noun movies. I could have said, I saw several movies, But in this case, I just wanted to say I saw several. And we know that several in this case is standing in for the movies. So it's a pronoun. But it is an indefinite pronoun because it doesn't tell us exactly what it is by itself. We need the context, the wider context of the sentence before it to understand what several refers to. And with any indefinite pronoun, we need that wider context for that definite pronoun to be given a more definite meaning. So I will pull that down, and I hope that that answers this question about the use of the word several and the different parts of speech that the word several can stand in for. And as you're listening, you may hear that there is a plane going overhead. In fact, we've had several planes fly overhead. Notice that in that sentence, if I said, I have, or we have heard several planes, several is serving as a quantitative adjective. It's telling us something about the planes. If you were to ask me, did any planes fly overhead during Ask Cozy Grammar? And I said yes, several, in that case, several by itself would be doing the work of an indefinite pronoun. Let me know if that answers your question, and if you have any further questions or follow-up questions, please feel free to write and to let me know.